Hello, as promised, here's a design. So in this group of videos in this playlist, we're looking at design, how we can design things for use in different applications. We looked at how we can design a logo, how to design a flyer, and now this one, as promised, is how to design a website. Now I'm not going to go start from scratch. What I'm going to show you is an example that somebody has in my imagination. Actually, I did this one, but has given us to then critique and see what we can improve about it. So I'm imagining that somebody's given me this one, and I want to try and make it into a usable format for the web. So I've got to send this to my software engineers, and they've got to code it up into a nice, beautiful website. So let's just have a look at some of the different elements on this page and see why I think it's terrible. Because it's terrible. This is not really suitable for the web. I'll tell you why. The first thing is, so let's take it one by one. All right. Now, first of all, you know the web stretches, right? When you open a website, it goes full width, doesn't it? Right to the edge of the page. What happens on this one? I don't know that because this website doesn't include any instructions or any kind of guidance on that, right? At the moment, all I can see is the contents of the page itself. And I can't see, like, for example, does this image get cut off? Does it go into an opacity? Does it just cut off completely? I don't know that at the moment. There's a lot of things that I can assume as somebody who might be coding this up, or at least be on the team of engineers that are going to code it up. What will happen there? All right. So that's one thing to watch out for primarily. Okay, is just what happens either side when somebody shrinks this out, because of course they're not looking at. So when the person who designed this is a very good designer, but he's a designer who is very familiar with print design. So of course with print design, you're looking at a piece of paper, and that is exactly how they have approached this design too. But the web's not paper, is it? The web has a very different user experience. What's the user experience? Ways of interaction, how people use your stuff. With a piece of paper, someone just holds it in front of them and they can see the whole thing unless there's something on the back, in which case they have to turn it over. But with the web, you can't assume that somebody's going to see this whole thing when they open the website. And in fact, there's probably about 99% chance that they won't see all of this. What they'll see instead is, let's just zoom it in a bit and just, how are we going to do this, right? I've zoomed in too much, right? That. They're probably going to see this, something like that, okay? They're not going to see what's down here, okay? And they're not going to see, and so therefore you have to capture that in your design. So therefore, just go with that, right? So there's a couple of other things that I want to mention, especially about this header area here, right? So this is the top of the page. This is where the money is. Okay, anybody who's designing websites knows that this section is going to get the most traffic, the most clicks, and the most interest from visitors. So it's got to be worth every pixel. All right, so you've got to make it really count what's in this space. And I don't know if what's here does have that value attached to it. Okay, there are certain things that are really good, like it's got the telephone number here. It's got a fax. There's a fax number. What's a fax number? Does anybody know what a fax number is? Because I've forgotten. It's so long ago that I used a fax number. It's got the email address and the web address. Why has it got a web address? We're on the web address. Why do we need to see the web address again? I don't know. That should go. So this area is not being used very well. Now, there's a couple of other usability issues just with this area here that I'd just like to highlight. When you go to a website, you also there's certain expectations about this area here. And you'll see it if you go on websites. So you've done your research as I asked you to before in the previous installment of this series. You'll see that most websites have a follow a format. They have a logo here, and they have navigation here, and then they have a button, an action button here. And do you know why that is? That is because, well, think about this. How many cars have you driven in your lifetime? Probably, yeah, you might not have driven any. You might be too young for that. But chances are you've driven a few, right? If you're a little bit older. Now, how do you know how to drive a car? Why don't you have to take a test every time you get in a car? because they're all the same. Okay, there's some variation, right? You've got automatic and you've got manual gears, but you still got the steering wheel. Okay, the steering wheel might be on the left or it might be on the right depending on where you live, but it's a car. It's got 4 wheels, it's got an engine, it's got a place where you sit where you can drive it, and it's got pedals on the floor so you can control it. All right, now that is the same with websites. People expect certain things to be in certain places so that it can be used easily, and if you have to teach them how to use it, well, there's a lots of different websites out there, aren't there? There are thousands and millions of websites, and people will more likely click away if they think, oh, I don't know how to use this, I'm off. That's just the least friction. So friction is a term for how difficult it is for somebody to use something. So let's see, a car has a certain degree of friction to use, but once you know how to use one car, it's not a big thing to use another car. You can just get in and drive it. The friction might come in where you put the key, because some of them have those little slots in the middle and some have them on the left. Or where's the brake? So there's little bits of friction in car driving. But websites need to be as frictionless as possible, because people will just leave if they don't know how to use it, or if they can't find the stuff that they want. All right. So it's very important for them to have logo here, navigation here, and then action button. Where is the navigation? We don't have. Where's navigation here? Oh, it's not here. So he's put the tagline down here, which some people are not going to see because they've got very narrow. Some people have screens like this. That tall. I'm not kidding you. Some people will only see that, and they're like, "What is this website? What's supposed to be happening? What am I supposed to be doing here?" There's nothing to do apart from call them or visit the website until you get down here, and even then, oh, there's an action down there. Sign up for a newsletter. So they don't know what to do. So the tagline is, of course, quite significantly important. But what I'm imagining is that somebody might come along and say, "Oh, the coffee shop owner might come along and say, I want to have an about page now, and I want to have a shop now, so people can order their nice pastries online." Where does that go? Where are we going to put that? Are we going to put it here and replace that with a nav bar? Well, again, like I said, a lot of people won't see that until they get right the way down. That's even if they do scroll, because a lot of people just say, "Oh, there's no navigation here. It's just one pager. I'm off," and will not even get to taste their rather nice pastries. So make sure you just scope those kind of things in. And the action button, well, that could be the sign up. That could be sign up for our newsletter. All right, because obviously it's important to the business to get people to sign up, because then you can spam them with emails. So make sure that comes as a pretty high priority on the website, and then you can obviously replace that with the shop now button if you want later on. So that kind of thing is important. All right, now I've only got a few minutes left in this video, so I'm just going to talk about this thing here, this abomination. This is called a carousel. Carousels, I don't like carousels. And a lot of people don't like carousels anymore. They're really going out of fashion. They used to be very good because they could show off visually what the brand is doing. But what's important to the person here? At the moment, they're just showing them what a coffee shop is like. It's not. These are even generic photographs. This isn't Chameleon Coffee's coffee shop. This is just some generic coffee shop somewhere. So it's not really providing any value whatsoever. And for a web developer to come in and like do a carousel like this, you've got a lot of JavaScript to load here. You've got lots of images to load. You've got a lot of space taken up. It also could cause what's called layout shift. So if these images aren't loaded in properly, the whole page could shift down when they are loaded in, because that's what happens in the web. What usually happens is there's a space for the image, but the browser doesn't know until it's got that image in memory how big that space is. So it can only calculate that after the image is loaded, which takes obviously a bit of time sometimes. So then there'll be a massive gap. That'll be so somebody's browsing around like, "Oh, great people," and then all of a sudden that will disappear because the image has appeared, and they'll just get this wall of image. That's no good. It's not really very helpful at all. So ditch your carousels. Carousels are useful for certain small requirements, like maybe certain product variations in an online shop. If you've got like 20 variations of a product, and you want people to be able to scroll through them easily, that's what you use a carousel for. You don't use it as a masthead. You don't use it as a main area here. And in fact, I would hesitate to put a picture there unless it's a real one of the shop. And the reason is, like I said before, it's very generic. It doesn't really tell anybody anything. It's not really leading down. Now, this is the other thing about websites, is that they are, think of a website as a game. You're building a game here. And what happens in a game? You navigate the player around a map to achieve certain objectives. And websites are the same. They are an interactive experience. Even if it's just text and images like this one, you are guiding somebody to a goal. What is that goal? So have that clearly in mind. The owner of Chameleon Coffee wants them to do is sign up for the newsletter. You can see that because that's what's at the bottom here. So you've got to make sure that those goals are prominent, are clear, and that they're very easy to achieve. Okay? So that's the introduction to this video. I'll record another one hopefully soon where we go into a little bit more detail and maybe we'll iterate on this design a little bit. Okay, thanks for watching.